Hello and welcome to the Orta Know Better podcast. I'm joined today by Adam, Jay, Luke, Smarty and Gilly. How are you all doing, boys?
Yeah, not bad, thriving as usual.
Excellent. You had a serious evening, didn't you? For that. I just wanted, at this point, we'd normally kind of get into a discussion about the previous game, but we've come to the decision as a podcast to do a post-match review on after the game. So if you wouldn't mind maybe joining us for a Berardi and Coke and a chat about the game, feel free. We'll be here.
But let's not do the last game because it was shit.
Yeah, here. Look,
last game. I don't know what you're talking about. Last game. We've not played for a couple of weeks.
The FA Cup doesn't count anymore.
What do you mean anymore? We've been shitting it for years.
yes, exactly.
I don't think we made it past fifth round for nearly 20 years.
Yeah,
it's not for us. It's not for us. We're not interested.
Nah. Don't like silverware anyway. Not top rate silverware anyway. So if you join us, we're playing Saturday, Brighton, Berardi and Coke. Get on it. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Smarty with the poll. What's going on?
Yeah, so every week we ask the listeners via a poll on Twitter to nominate or to choose a subject or the main subject for the podcast. This week we had potential outgoing loans, Capria, Casilla or exciting under 23s. And it was quite close this week. It's the closest one we've ever had. 35% with the exciting under 23s. So I'm going to throw this straight over to Gilly to start off. What are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I think in terms of the attacking potential, if we start there, I think if we look at the changes that have been made recently within the overall squad, there were definitely some emphasis put on in the summer. We spent real money bringing in. We've got Joffrey and we've got Greenwood. Crescencio Somerville's coming as well. He'd been tearing it up at Den Haag in the Eredivisie. We've got players there. Plus, we do have some strength in that team. Now, I'd spoken before about the fact that our reserves attempt to play the same way as our first team. Now, I don't want to dwell on the last game, but we did see some of the fringe players from the first team and some of the youth players, and we didn't really see the capability there. But there's some wider conversations that have been taking place on social media this week about, when you look at League One, League Two teams, and the way that under 23s play in comparison is there isn't really. You can't replicate that. So we do have players that are out on loan that are getting that experience. All right, one of them at Oldham and playing for that knobhead, but some of them are out there getting that first team experience, playing against adults, playing against cart horses, getting kicked about because they're technically gifted players that just maybe don't have that same strength and same reading of the game in as much as when they're going to get clattered, rather than about where the ball's going to be or what the shape of the game is. And I think that's elements that when you're breaking into open age from a youth amateur level, you learn that really quickly. But youth players today, they're kind of wrapped in cotton wool because they need to be looked after because they're actually worth a lot of money. So clubs need to look after those players at that level and not see major injuries happening there that can set players back years, if not in totality. But yeah, if we look at the attacking lineup, I think there's goals there, there's creativity there, there's movement, there's speed, there's pace. I think trying to break them into the first team is where it becomes difficult. We've seen players go out on loan up to Scotland and into lower leagues, trying to really make their way into that. And I don't think Bielsa's against using youth. If you look at Struijk, if you look at Davis and Shackleton and so on, he's trying to bring them. John Stevens was another. He's trying to bring them into the team. They're just not getting there. But Luke, from your perspective, I've stolen some of the headlines with the nice attacking players. But outside of that, what's your thoughts?
I mean, everything you say there is quite honest and quite a good critical review, I think. I think you're quite right in that nowadays, probably only in the last 10 years or so, the youth players are pretty much, like you say, wrapped in cotton wool. When I was a kid growing up, I played rugby and football. It was just a case of getting in there and doing it, and you just sort of got used to the knocks and playing with the big boys and blokes. But these lads look way off the pace in terms of playing against blokes, regardless of what age group. I think they got knocked out quite early in the the Premier League trophy by somebody quite rubbish. I forget who it was. But with the 23s played, does anybody know who it was? Can you remember?
I can't remember who knocked him out.
Was it Blackpool?
Daft like, yeah, on Luton.
It was somebody like that. Anyway, and they got absolutely hammered, and there was quite a lot of noise made around social media as to what's the point of the competition. But it's exactly that: it's to get them toughened up and get them used to playing against adults and that. On the positive side of it, the 23s are top of Premier League 2. They played some really good football. I don't know if anybody caught the highlights from the game they played yesterday. They beat Burnley 4-1 away. And Somerville actually got an hat-trick, Somerville, who you mentioned. And I think the other goal was from Greenwood, the other lad who came on and played for the first the other day. He looks a great talent, by the way. One thing I was surprised by was no sign of Geldart in that team at the weekend. And I don't want to touch up on the weekend, but he's been sort of marked as the next big thing to come out of our 23s, I think. And for him to be missing just puts a bit of thought in my mind as to he might be going out on loan potentially, especially with Edmondson coming back as well from is it Kilmarnock or Aberdeen? Aberdeen, isn't it?
Maybe this time.
So yeah, no. Other than that, I think you quite rightly say that Bielsa wants that team echoing exactly what the first team are doing. And since Corberan went and left to the Dog Bothers, Mark Jackson's come in and done a fantastic job with him. I mean, they're miles clear at the top of that Premier League 2. Looking like a really exciting time to be in the Leeds development. They're attracted some really good players. I think we paid £1 million for Geldart and pretty similar for Greenwood as well. For us to be spending that. Sorry?
Paid something for Somerville as well.
Somerville, yeah. I mean, we're spending money. I remember when we paid £1 million for fucking Luke Murphy. Do you know what I mean? We're spending that on kids now.
The next big thing.
All night for Luke Murphy.
But yeah, no, really exciting time. I don't think they're ready to be playing first team football, a lot of them, and I think Bielsa's doing exactly right in terms of echoing what he does with the first team. He wants their second team to be doing exactly the same thing. He's probably passing that message on to Mark Jackson. But they're not physically ready. And I think the weekend showed that the lads who came on just didn't look up to it.
Gilly and Luke, I just want to throw it at you. Do you think the players that are currently out on loan, getting that first team experience, do you think, are they a step ahead of the under 23s that are kind of on the peripheral of making the first team? Do you think, are they going to benefit more when they come back from their loan spells? I think than the ones that are already here, just trying to get into the first team and on the bench and stuff like that. I'll give it to you, Luke, there.
I think it's a case of the old adage that is, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And these lads that have been swallowed up and taken on loan, I don't know whether it's a case of Bielsa said, yeah, they can go on loan because he doesn't see them fit his style, or whether it's a case of he thinks they're actually probably closer to the first team, so they need a bit of toughening up, a bit of physicality. So when they come back, I mean, hands up, who thinks Edmondson might be jumped straight in front of Geldart and Greenwood? I think he will. I think he'll come back and he will be ahead.
And it's Bielsa fancies him.
I do. I think he'll come back. You know, the reason he's out on loan, especially up in a farmers league, is to get tougher. You know, he's a big lad anyway, but it's not just about your strength. It's not just about your physicality. It's also about riding your tackles. It's reading the game. It's knowing when you're about to get hit. And that's as important as being able to take the hit when it comes. Is being able to read it and get yourself ready. And I think that's you can only gain that from being in a first team and being up against people that have played the game for a lot of years. And that's, you know, you talk about, we talked before about bringing in somebody experienced to work with Melier, because we want other changes to take place. But, you know, you bring somebody experienced in to work with him in training, to work with him, to show him the ropes, and to be a capable, you know, if he gets injured, if he gets banned or what have you, to be a capable replacement. That's because the more that you play with those players that are more experienced, the more you learn from them. Well, the best way of doing that is to be playing against them. We've seen all of our players move to another level. It doesn't matter how good they were playing last season. They've all gone to another level this season. They're playing against better opposition week in, week out, and that's only going to improve you as a player.
Yeah,
Just
I
one
agree
thing on Edmondson. We've seen a bit of a sniff of the other under-23s, but we've never really seen anything of Edmondson whilst Bielsa's been here. And when you listen to other podcasts and other journalists speak about him, they not really think that he's up to it, that the Bielsa doesn't really like him or like his style of play. And I still think that rings true. Personally, I think we won't see him again in Leeds.
I think you're right.
I think he'll be on his way out. But
I think Phil A mentioned, didn't he, that there's no point packing his bags or something, because I think he's going straight back out on loan. Is the message I read.
Is it loan to buy or something like that?
You don't fancy him.
You don't like him,
picked him by now if he did.
But the thing is,
when all that shit were happening with Bamford getting hammered for not scoring enough goals, Edmondson were absolutely hammering him in for the 23s. He still won't give him a go. He just don't fancy him. He then brought in Keir in instead of giving Edmondson a go again.
See, the thing is, I see with Edmondson, I see he's kind of a similar player to Chris Wood, where he'd be the big forward man, and that's not what Bielsa wants, in my opinion. You can see, like, Bamford is probably one of the tallest players in our final third, like, you know what I mean? And he's not massive by any means. Like, he was willing to bring in Nketiah over someone, I don't know who we linked with at the time again, I can't quite remember, but he brought him in, and he's tiny. So I think maybe your point, Jay, saying that, we won't see him again is a valid one, because to me, he's quite similar. Adam, I saw you shaking your head, you're nodding your head there. Are you in agreement with that, yeah?
Yeah, he's definitely a Chris Wood type striker, isn't he? He's not going to chase down the channels. He's just going to. He's a fucking lump. Like that's it. He gives an outlet. If you're chasing a game, you'd lump him on for 10 minutes. But I don't know.
Matt Smith.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, but what I think the point that we were talking about him going to Aberdeen and playing in, as Gilly said, the Farmers League and that's where these young lads need to go. We need to fuck them off to SPL, because Scotland.
What, to plant some carrots, like?
Go get fucked up on fucking Orangaboom.
Get him on plough. Get him on fucking plough. Get him pulling some bloody stuff.
That's it. But you think about it, fucking Van Dijk came from SPL, effectively. Do you know what I mean? So they're going to play, these young lads, they go out into SPL. I know we all slag it off, but they're going to have, if they go to a decent team, and I know there's only 3 or 4 decent teams in that SPL.
That's a push, like
3 or 4.
In comparison to others, I get it, because if you look at Aberdeen, you look at Hearts, you look at Rangers, you look at Celtic, compared to the others,
Hibs.
There's only 5 fucking teams in Bastard League.
They play each other about 12 times.
But my point is, they'll, if you go to Aberdeen, you should be tonking Ross County, for example, but you'll get tonked by Rangers or Celtic. So the mid table of SPL is where we should be sending these under 23s and sending them to get the first team experience, because they'll have their own way, and they might dick past the left back at Ross County, but they'll get absolutely smashed by an international at Celtic, and it's that mixture. And playing under 23 football isn't going to do them any good at all. Yeah, they can play the BLs away. Do
you think they'd be better off in the Scottish League, for instance, than they would in a lower English league?
100%. Look at Jordan Stevens. He's gone to, where did he go? Swindon. He was shit there. So they've gone, fuck it, we'll bring him back and then we'll send him to Bradford. What's the point in that? He's not going to have any confidence now. He's not made it at a League One team. I think Swindon in League One still. He's not made it there. So they pulled him and put him into the same league. But he's clearly not up to that league. So get his confidence back. Fuck him off to somewhere like Hearts or Hibs or somewhere like that, where he's going to play competitive football.
Well, would he play though?
Well,
that's assurances the club needs, isn't it?
If you go into Swindon and stuff, you
don't want to send him out to sit on bench.
Exactly. But if he's not good enough, then if he's not good enough to go and sit on the Hearts bench, or he's certainly not good enough for Swindon's team, why the fuck are we paying him? Why is he here? What are we getting from him?
Well, when you're talking about why the fuck are we paying him, we've got Wazin Boy. We've got
on that note,
we've got Barry Douglas.
Right.
He's not going to go anywhere, is he? You know, we've got players on. We've got Lauren de Bock still out on loan.
Jesus Christ.
So you know.
So we're all in agreement that we reckon that the under-23s need to go out on loan, the ones that have the most potential, is it? And just basically toughen the hell up, like.
Yeah. I think you can learn.
Man, and hammer at some pikey or something like that in the bleeding Scottish leagues, is it?
Yeah. I think you can learn Bielsa's style a lot easier than you can learn to play against blokes.
Yeah, you're
under 23 football is all it's good for is keeping players fit.
Yeah.
Get them on a bloody building site, have them carry some bricks.
Hey, it never did Vinnie Jones any harm, did it?
Bricks
Vinnie Jones were an odd carrier.
Yeah.
They don't even clean boots anymore, these kids. They've got it easy.
No, they don't. This is the madness. Anyway, like you've got under 23s on 10, 12 grand a week in some clubs. Like, you know,
There's
Chelsea
no
are paying
apprenticeship
under 23, 30, 40 grand. Like, it's like, that's bananas.
Bring back national service.
I actually have the story about this. So, do you remember we had Tom Taylor and Woodsy, and they both fucked off to Chelsea. Yeah. So Tom Taylor,
5 million.
Yeah, so he fucked off. He went on loan at like Hibs or something. He went to Scotland and shit. But he was back in London when he was at Chelsea, and he was living, and he ended up banging one of my mates basically. And he left. What's his name? His name's Adam Dennis. He's Adam Rita. Anyway, he left his allegedly he left his payslip out at Chelsea payslip. God's honest truth, and he was on 16 grand a week. And you think, but what's he done with his career? What's Woodsy done with their careers?
Oh, it went down the toilet, didn't it? Did fuck all. Didn't want to get injured.
But I don't know what he did. He was shit. But the problem is, this is the problem, isn't it? The only like these lads, as you say, under 23s, we give this stigma of under 23s. We're calling them young players. They're not young. 23, they should be in their fucking peak. Under 23 players should be in their peak and be in first teams. This academy football bullshit and this under 23 cups and Premier League 2 or whatever it is, it's bollocks. They're not going to learn anything.
I think to add to that, Adam, the majority of ours in our 23s are actually a lot younger than 23. Yeah. I think that's probably something that does benefit us. Like the majority of them are sort of 16 to probably 19, the good ones.
Right.
If they're not good enough at this, like players like Edmondson, Stevens, you know, if they're not going to get good first team game time, then let them go down lower leagues. Let them just fuck them off. Let them go down lower leagues. Why we stockpiling potential? That's all we're doing. We're not doing out with it. And all Premier League clubs are guilty of this. You know, fucking let them go. Let them go. Like, look at Michael Antonio, Vardy. They fuck off. They go and play lower leagues and they come up because they learn, because they're playing first team football. That's what we need to be doing. Fuck this under 23 shit off. I don't care if we're top of the league. I couldn't give a fuck. I want to see these players actually playing proper football. Then they're Leeds players. At the moment, they're just fucking reserve teams. It's bollocks. Anyway, sorry guys.
It's all right. Don't worry about that. We haven't
back this week.
Adam, we haven't seen you in a while, man. You're well entitled to that. Like, don't you worry about a damn thing, man. Don't worry about it.
Someone has to have a rant every week, Adam. It can't be me.
Exactly, man. Though it can't be us all the time. We're just getting boring, you know. So go for it, man. All good. Anyway. Look, we're going to move on to the Brighton game, lads. I enjoyed that discussion, and I hope the listeners kind of look into that and maybe take a bit of what we said on board and enjoy Adam's rant a little bit there. It was very enjoyable, to be perfectly honest with you. It's nice to hear you back, Adam. So we're going to go on and start discussing the upcoming game on Saturday, Brighton. Now I'd like to throw this one at Jay and just how do you think we're going to line up without KP in the side now, Jay? Do you think it's going to be a little bit different? How do you think our back line is going to look if Struijk moves into midfield? What's your opinion on how we're going to go about it?
I think it depends on whether he wants to play the back three or not, mainly. But I don't think we've got the personnel to play with back three in this case. So I think we'll probably just have a centre back pairing of Ayling and is Cooper back now? I think he's back, isn't he? Fucking hell. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be a major surprise. I think that Struijk will be in midfield, as Bielsa's already said. Ayling and Cooper at the back, and then we'll have Alioski and Dallas at fullbacks. Just sort of same sort of thing we've had for the last few weeks. Really, I can't see any real surprise in the selection beyond that. It's just how it is with Bielsa, isn't it? You know what's what generally.
I guess so, yeah. But do you think will he tinker with it a little bit? Even like we saw previously, where he was getting Ayling to run from centre back, doing his normal meandering runs. Do you think will he incorporate that, or because he'll have Dallas at right back, Adam? Do you think will he bring that on board, or what? Like
Ayling's natural. That's what he likes to do anyway, and I think with the way that we set up, when Ayling goes forward, obviously Strike will come back into and cover that. But yeah, I just think it were mad, and I don't want to talk about the Crawley game, but all I could think of watching that performance was, fuck me, we miss Ayling and Dallas. Like that was
and Click.
And but Click's been disappointing for me this season. I don't think he's done, but then he's playing a different type of role.
You say that, but surprisingly, I did see a stat today that he's second for progressive passes into the final third in the league,
which is weird.
Which is mad.
And in the top 12 in Europe, I think chances created.
Do you know what? I think we're missing out on a lot of what Click does because we're not seeing him live. Like we said in a couple of podcasts ago, where you watch Click, you watch the game, but you miss it because you can't actually just watch him because the camera's never just on him, and I think we're missing out on what he provides sometimes, and it's looking like he's not really been in it, and maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. What do you think?
I think you're right.
I don't know if any of you have actually ever watched Click closely, but he moves the ball very, very quickly. Just Click. He don't keep hold of it really, unless he's trying to move it upfield probably quickly. As soon as he ever receives it, it's gone. It's always gone, whether it's gone back to Calvin for him to make a big 40-yard pass or whatever. Or he's always looking, he's always moving, he's always looking to move the ball. He doesn't like to retain the ball too much. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glue in it. He's technically the glue in our midfield. Without, like as we've said, without Click, we're terrible. I think because he was so dynamic in the Championship, and obviously it's a new level, I just think we're not seeing that same dynamic from him at the moment. I don't know. Yeah. And I think as well, because we're all concentrating on what we believe Rodrigo should be able to do against what Rodrigo is actually delivering. I think we're all looking, as soon as Rodrigo gets the ball, I'm like, right, what's he going to do? Oh, fuck, he's lost it again. But so I'm not looking at as much at Click. Does that make sense?
Sorry, did you say Rodrigo? I thought you meant Rafinha.
No, they're both fucking doing now at the moment.
Don't get me started on this. We're talking about Brighton.
Yeah, we're talking about Brighton. Come on.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I think we'll beat them, but yeah, I think we need to see. I want to see Ayling bombing forward. I want to see Strike coming back in. But the most important thing is we need Dallas and Ayling if we've got any chance, because Dallas and Ayling, or Dallas and Alioski, they're so attacking. They'll push the Brighton fullbacks back, and that Lamptey at right back for Brighton is a danger man because he's
not playing.
Is he not?
No, he's out.
Fuck it, we'll beat him 5-0.
Ben White.
I don't think there's confirmation on Ben White yet.
They've got quite a few key players out, to be fair.
It did limp off. Lallana's out. Lamptey's out. Ben White's a doubt. So
the other centre back, one of the other centre backs as well, I think. Dunk's playing. I forget the tweet, but they've got 4 or 5 key players, including Lallana, Lamptey, probably their best 2 players, missing.
Lallana's always going to be missing from a lot of game in the season, though, isn't he? He's made a biscuit. Lallana.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Lamptey, Connolly, Welbeck, and Lallana are all.
Welbeck's another one that's made out of biscuit.
Yeah.
Lallana is a biscuit, but he's not even a good biscuit. He's not like an obnob, or he's a rich
nice.
What do you mean he's not like an obnob? Obnobs are shit.
Obnobs are the
best.
No,
man, what are you talking about? No. They're a pretender.
We had a music competition.
So the Metallica a biscuit.
There we go.
Oh, God.
Metallica of biscuit. Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Well, anyway.
Are we really saying that?
Anyway,
in the middle of a podcast where you're just going to drop shit like that.
He's random, isn't he? He's got a chip on his shoulder. He has to keep pushing, does Gilly?
Right. Anyway, look, Gilly. I think I'm not sure if I want your opinion on the Brighton game, but you're going for it there, like.
I do.
I don't think you were supposed to be coming to me, were you?
Go for it, man. What do you think?
Well,
give us 30 seconds there.
We talked about the players that are going to be out, and I think that's going to impact them. It's really going to hurt them. They've not got a big squad. They thought that they were going to be our rivals, and they're nowhere near us. They've got a shit coach, and I'm confident that we're going to bang them all over the place.
Right, that's you done. On to Smarty. Smarty, come here. Tell me, what's the story with Mupai up front? Is someone needs to kick him first time and Mupai or whatever his name. Mupai or what's his name? Mope. He's a bell end anyway, so it doesn't matter if I get his name wrong.
Mum pie sounds like some sort of creepy pornography.
Mum.
we do our research on.
Sounds like
we do our research. That's not to say we can pronounce shit. Moon pie. Smarty, do you reckon there's someone going to stick the boot in on him fairly sharpish?
I reckon he'll probably bag an hat trick if Cooper's back in defence.
I kind of wanted
international centre backs.
I did want that reaction from Smarty, if I'm being perfectly honest.
International centre back Liam Cooper, the fucking sieve, aka the traffic cone, is back in the middle of the park. I don't know. I hope we've done all right defensively without him, and I just hope we don't lose because there's only going to be one. Well. I can't do with him. I swear to God, I can't. We just seem so fragile and so disorganised when he's at back. He did all right against some League Two sort of players on at weekend. Apparently, I didn't, pay too much.
We won it only once.
Well, he's playing his standard, isn't he? So.
Well, no, he was the standard above, apparently.
Expected, I suppose.
You're able to use his experience.
I'd like to set up a little bit more solid, and he's definitely one to watch. He's the danger man for them, isn't he? But yeah, someone needs to leave a. I don't know. You can't say that. We can't. We've just got to play. We've got to play how we normally play. We can't go in and start fucking breaking players because we don't want another one. We don't want
like the old days.
Yeah. We're not going to do that anyway. We're not that sort of side.
We're not. But
we're not. No, we're not.
Maybe see Cooper leave one in on him after all the shit.
Well, yeah, if Cooper could get a red card and get banned for a few games,
I wasn't going that far.
If we could do it in like the 92nd minute or something, you know what I mean?
Maybe 92nd minute.
You're an arsehole.
That'd be too bad.
I'm sorry for not being more sorry.
I was looking at Brighton's games actually, like the last 5 or something. They've drawn 4 of them and lost 1 of them. So I'll tell you something. If we don't beat these, then we need to have a fucking major rethink.
It's one of them sort of games where you think, oh yeah, we should beat these, but it's just like, with the whole Ben White thing and all that sort of stuff. Whenever we've got a little bit of controversy behind a game, that we seem to struggle. I just hope we don't end up getting pumped by these pricks. These fucking
I know. I want us to win, and I want to see what Wilson does on Twitter after we win. He's got to say something about the direct rivals thing, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, hasn't he?
If we beat him. And for the record, there's only one real Potter, and that's Brian. So
Ironside.
Brian can fuck
What's
off.
wrong with Harry?
Ironside.
Not wrong with Harry.
Fucking Harry Potter. Have you heard yourself? You're slagging off Metallica and now you're fucking singing praises of Harry fucking Potter.
You're absolutely damn right.
I like you better when you didn't have your camera on.
Tell you what.
Push my fucking buttons, I tell you.
So basically, our Brighton is we're hoping for a win, and we shouldn't accept anything less. Is basically what we've all come to the conclusion of. Normally at this point we'd have a little segment from stats, but we've decided that we want to have a little bit of an old thing where Stats releases his stuff just before the game so that you have absolutely everything up to date and you're informed through the Orta Know Better podcast. So look out for that. We're going to be releasing them every match day just before kickoff. Maybe a couple of hours before kickoff, so you have all the information, team news, who's suspended, who's playing, a couple of stats from the man himself, letting us know what it is. So we're going to go on to predictions. Gilly, do you want to take this one, buddy, please?
Yeah, can do. So we're all sorted for it. So we'll just go around the room. So Smarty, we'll come to you first. Where are you going? Look at that smile.
I'm gonna say 2-1 Leeds.
Okay. Luke, you're next on my screen.
I'm going to go with a 3-1 Leeds win simply because I think we'll be too strong for them, regardless of Phillips being out. But I think they've got far more important players out for them.
Okay. Adam, you're next.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3-2. I think we're gonna be shaky at the back still, but I think the attacking players that are gonna be too much for that. And if I don't think Ben White's gonna be fine. I think we're just taking him out of the limelight and getting him out of the build-up. But I do think we'll score 3. But I do think we're still a bit shit at the back at the moment. So 3-2.
Cooper's back, don't forget.
Oh yeah, 3-3.
5-0. 5-0, bro.
Diego.
I think this is finally going to be a week where I get 4-1 Leeds.
No.
I love your persistence, Jay, man. I really hope
I'm sticking with it, Carl. I've got no choice now. I'm going to die on this hill.
Nearly got there with a couple of them, West Brom and Newcastle. You know, they were high-scoring games, but
Not
nearly
far
got
off.
there. Carl?
No,
Oh, God.
not doing it. Not doing it.
Do you know, genuinely, I think the fact that you didn't get offered to turn down an opportunity to have a prediction is what went wrong last weekend.
Maybe, you know, that's
There was
my
no game last
superstitions are
weekend.
rubbing off on the pod. Like,
Don't need a prediction when there's no game.
I think this is going to be closer than I really want it to be. But equally, I'm going to go 5-1 anyway.
5-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like where we're going here, Gilly.
Bamford's going to be back in.
The
Leeds
Leeds
going to be back in behind him. They're going to tear him up. Lamptey's not in, and fingers crossed White's out, and Harry Potter's got no idea what to do with Bielsa, and we'll just fucking smash him.
Got to think as well. Just to add to that, they'll have played 3 games this week in the time that we've played 2, and they played 120 minutes in their FA Cup game. Played a lot of first teamers. We rested a lot of our first team. They've got a midweek game against City tomorrow, and then they play us at the weekend. So yeah, I think they're going to be some tired legs out there for Brighton.
And
I changed mine. I'm going 7-0 Leeds.
I know we're not dwelling on last game, but looking forward, the players that didn't play in the last game are going to be fresh. And that, you know, if you look at the spine, keeper, Ayling's going to be probably at centre back, Click in the middle, and Bamford up front. Didn't play at all.
Yeah.
So you know,
we should be fresh.
Yeah.
And Rafinha didn't play all that much either. What was it like? Did he come on the second
Well, even
half?
when he came on, he didn't do much.
Yeah.
Fuck off,
Best player in the fucking world is Rafinha. Watch him eat. Watch Gilly eat his words next
He's
week.
great.
He bangs a fucking hat-trick in or another
Gilly
40.
doesn't know. Gilly doesn't know.
Right at the end of his dick. Go on, lad.
Tell you what,
I hope he does. I'm
on
not
a
going to eat
related-
humble pie if he
on a
does. I'm going to be
related note-
jumping.
On a related note, even though I'm sort of going off track slightly, I saw a completely made-up story today from Football Insider saying that we were going to be after a striker because of how badly Rodrigo played in that game. It's like, are you fucking joking? Like one bad game, and you know everybody else was shit too, but we're after a striker because Rodrigo played shit.
Yeah,
Bear in mind,
did you give
Bamford's
the
right up
story a
here in
thumbs
scoring
up
chats.
or a thumbs down?
Oh, definitely a thumbs down on that one, mate. Don't you worry.
Both if he can get it.
Do we just turn Adam upside down and want a thumbs down? Adam upside down.
Up, dickhead.
I thought you were going to do it there, Adam. Okay, so you've got them all jotted down there, Gilly, yeah?
Yeah, I got them, yeah.
Excellent stuff. And that brings us nicely on to the Hock Topic. Now, during the Ralph interview, he did take part in the Hock Topic. Just in case you haven't seen it, Ralph Heinzen was on our pod. So maybe go and watch it. It's a separate interview. Quite good. He chose
Quite
Potter.
good.
He
He
chose
let,
Potter.
he let us down, man.
He don't
He
understand.
let us down. But to be fair, he wasn't really in on why we play it. So we let him off the hook. Now we're going to get him to give us his Hock Topic for next week so that we can include it as well as his prediction, because we've got Ralph Einson on our prediction league. So sort it out, yeah. So I'm going to go around the group. I'm going to start with Luke. Hock or Pothead?
I would rather wank the Hock off than pick Potter.
Again.
Film it. We can release it as an extra
Oh,
pop.
Christ.
Maybe there might be a subscription.
Just to be honest, I just can't stand him. He looks like he's a private schoolboy that's had his hair cut by his mum. I just don't like the geezer. He's just a bit of a dick.
That's fair enough. Like, you know. Yeah.
So yeah,
Marty?
I'm wanking the Hock off this week.
Fair enough.
Marty, do you want to try and elaborate on that, like, or not?
Says it behind his hand. Potter looks like he had his head caught between two doors.
2 doors? How do you trap your head between 2 fucking doors?
No, I think his
Oh
mum
my
trapped his head
God.
between the door and the car, or tried to just. He looks like he's been bobbing for apples in a chip fryer, doesn't he? He's a fucking ugly bastard, like. And obviously, you know, the Hock has got a BTEC in sports science. And if you weren't aware, we're going to take us to the Champions League, lads. And also, as it happens, I've done a little bit of research. He does have his cycling proficiency certificate. Fucking hell.
Really?
Got to be the Hock. Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Rumour has
Put
it
him
he's
down
got
for
his 10-metre swimming badge as well, but I don't know. I'm going to have to do it.
He's a sinker.
Yeah.
Adam, the Hock or Potter?
Yeah. Every time I look at Potter, he reminds me of Nicholas Lyndhurst. That's what I'll see when I look at him. He looks like Rodney from fucking. So just for that, 'cause I fucking hate that southern wank anyway. So just for that, I'm gonna go with the Hock.
So, Schmarty.
What do you mean?
It's already been.
Already? Oh, right, Jazz. Yeah.
He looks like
He's amateur.
That Elber is strong, isn't
Put the
it?
beer down, Flower.
He looks like the end of a knob.
No.
Who does?
Looks a bit like Luke Chadwick, doesn't he? Like Luke Chadwick's
Jesus
dad.
Christ, that's not good.
He looks like
Very harsh.
a melted version of a dick that's been shrink wrapped.
A melted. Right.
I'm going to speak now.
Please do.
We ate Brighton because they didn't free Ben White. We ate
Yeah.
Swansea because they screwed us over with deals in the past. Although goal was lovely against them, so fuck them, the bastards.
Oh, yeah.
And he were at Swansea, wasn't he? He is an ugly bastard. They didn't give us Ben White. They thought that we were going to be relegation rivals, and although I argued with somebody about this at the weekend, saying that we're not safe, we won't be safe until we've got 40 points. We're certainly not rivals with Brighton because they're shit. So, yeah, we're going to hammer them. And the only reason we're in a position to do that is because Hockaday found us Bielsa and gave us a platform from which to succeed. So it's got to be Hockaday.
Sweet. I like it. Jay.
Well, I don't have a right lot to say about Potter, to be fair, other than,
You look
as I
like
said
him.
before. You look more like him than I do, you ugly
You look
cunt.
like him.
Pipe down.
You look like him.
Is that a curtain behind you? Can you pull it over your head? Anyway.
You look like you've eaten him.
Listen, I'm trying to be professional here, you daft twat. Can we boot him?
He's meeting.
You look
Can I
like
eat your head?
You look like him when he's retired to Spain, to the Costa del Sol for a few years.
He says you look like him.
Yeah, I'd rather look like that than be like Sean fucking Dyche. Jesus Christ. Bagging
You
big
big stiff
fucking
idiot.
pound shop Dyche. Now, pipe
Right,
down.
Jay.
I've got important things to say.
Yes. Say them, Jay. Say them. Come
Been
on.
so rudely interrupted.
Does it start
Sorry
with
about
something
that,
like
Oh,
they're
God. It's
relegation
not
rivals
finished.
with us?
It's not finished.
Go on, Jay.
Can he be muted?
Don't know.
Listen, he's fucked up everything I was going to say.
Hurry up,
so
Graham, for
I'm
fuck's
just going to
sake.
Forgotten, haven't you?
No,
Grace,
Go on, Jay. Go on.
I'm not allowed to speak. This is what it's become. This podcast has
Stop
descended
moaning and just
into
fucking
chaos.
say it.
hurry up, Graham.
Fuck you,
Free Ben White.
the Hawk.
Right. There's your answer, Carl. Carl's gone now. We can't say that we don't have fun making this.
Speak for yourself.
Jay don't look
I
like
love
he's very
Tuesdays. Tuesdays are now my favourite day of the week.
happy.
Oh, Christ on a bike. Right, okay.
I'm done.
So, the Hawk, apart from our buddy Ralph, reigns supreme. Happy days. Nice one, Hawk. I
As
think
it
we should
should.
start. Yes, yes. Do we know what college he's managing the janitorial side of things of now, or what's the crack? Just wondering, do we know?
For his
We could
week.
give the school a plug for a bit of crack.
I've read an interview.
I'd have to look him up.
He's basically, I swear to God, he's back working at a school. And
Right.
honestly, I think he's doing like head of PE or something. And I'm not
Got
pissing
to
around
be.
here. I
Got
read
to
an
be.
interview with him, but he
Are you
was.
sure
Right.
that's not Solskjaer?
He was just a little melted head. Yeah, no, it's he's definitely back in like education or something. I don't know.
Let's try and track down the school he's working in and
Hang
tag
on,
the pod
right.
in it.
David Hockaday is an English former professional footballer who is currently head of male football at South Gloucester and Stroud College.
There you are.
Sweet. Can
There you
someone
go.
tag it when we release the pod, please?
Not many colleges can say they've got a former Leeds United manager.
That's true. That is
There
true.
you
That's
go.
fact.
That's,
Fact.
This is like we're going to put
That's
them on
a
the
J
map.
fact.
They don't know the source, the resource they have inside their school now. They've got an ex-Leeds United manager, albeit a little bit fucked, but
They just keep wondering why they keep losing salt and pepper shakers out of canteen.
Absolutely.
Right, okay. Look, that brings to a close the Orta Know Better podcast for this week. I'd like to thank Luke, Adam, Jay, Gilly, and Smarty for their contributions. It was an absolute gem as always, lads. Thanks very much. Just want to mention again, please do not forget that we have a post-match conversation lined up for after the Brighton game, and it'll be after every game forthcoming. It's called Berardi and Coke, so join us for an old chat. It's nice to see you there, lads. Good to see you, boys.
See you there.
As always.
It's been emotional.
Yes.
That's very true.
Fellas.
Take it easy.